Hello, everybody, and welcome to Undecided Hash Podcast, where we don't know in advance if this is going to be a topic or
This is so
a regular
confusing.
show. So we'll see. We do
Well,
have a topic, but
okay,
we didn't prepare the topic that well, and it
that
really
well.
lends itself to escalate into other stuff. So we'll
Yeah.
see if we can keep it contained, and what we'll see. fiatjaf,
Do you have other topics for recording after this one?
maybe,
Maybe. Okay.
maybe.
It's all a mystery. This show's a mystery.
Yes, you never know in advance.
We,
So
we
what's
also we also have a guest or not.
no, we don't have a guest.
Okay. Okay. We don't have a guest.
We really should. We okay. Never mind. What's the topic?
Something about lighting being broken and being a scam or something like that.
Yes. So the on the Optech, I saw this thing, HTLC aggregation with covenants, where I
I
guess there
think
are a
this is a
bunch.
topic episode because there's no StarCraft game playing.
That's true, but I can also always add a StarCraft game if I feel like it. So,
Okay.
um, so yeah, the output. Wait, the
So
HTLC aggregation with covenants. So the point of the thing is where,
covenants. Okay, we don't
yeah,
have covenants on Bitcoin.
no.
End
So
of. So this is not for bitcoins. This is for some shitcoin that has covenants. A proposal that
or
does.
if perhaps a future version of
No,
Bitcoin.
no, that won't happen.
This might be an added reason as to why we need the stuff. So the thing with how much HTLCs can a channel have at a single point in time, fiatjaf, you know these things.
I don't know. No, the theoretical limit is like 300, but I think the Lightning implementations they limit to like 30, or it varies.
Okay. So maybe we need to explain, just to cover the basis, what we're talking about.
Well, people that listen, they everybody know this, right?
Right,
But
that's also what I'm assuming. But on the other hand, so really,
so a Lightning channel is like you put a Bitcoin on two of two multi-sig, and then when a payment's in flight, you create a new out. No, so this two of two multisig has a pre-signed transaction that spans it to two different outputs, one for you and one for your peer. But whenever there's an in-flight payment, yeah, a payment that isn't finished, isn't completed yet, you have an HTLC, and the HTLC just means an output that pays to this HTLC contract or something, and the HTLC can be claimed by the both sides of the channel depending on conditions. Like if it's passed a long time, it can be claimed by the person who's sending. They can claim the money back. But if the other person has a pre-image, they can claim the HTLC themselves before the certain time has passed.
so that's what HTLC means, right? It's the hash time lock. It's like either a hash or a time lock, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's either the high time lock or the hash, which is like the pre-image thing, so the secret. And because when the payment is in flight, you don't know who's supposed to get the money, right? If the payment succeeds, then one party needs to get the money, and if the payment fails, then the payment never happens. So the other party needs to get it back, basically. And so you both have a possible claim, and if the payment succeeds, then there is this hash. Then the secret's out, and then you can claim it with the hash lock. But if that hash never gets publicized because the payment never succeeded, then the other party can claim it eventually with the time lock. So that's the point.
Yes.
Um, Now the problem here is that because it's a separate output, uh, it needs to pay for itself. Basically, it takes up space. It takes up block space within the. It takes up space within the transaction. So you need to be able to account for those extra costs. So the value of this separate in between thingy uh, needs to be high enough in order to pay for itself. Where and this, what we're going to talk about, is not going to solve this necessarily. Where so if you send low value transactions like one sat or 10 sats, then those don't work within this system because they're not able to pay for themselves. So the current what does the current implementation do precisely, Feature?
They fake. The peers assume there's an HTLC, but there's not actually any HTLC, and the money that was supposed to be on the HTLC goes to fees. Like they go to nowhere. So
Yes,
if the channel is closed, they go to miners. The money go to miners.
right. So because it goes it's not specified. So we pretend as if it exists, but it doesn't exist. So those sets are not accounted for within the transaction, and any sets that are not accounted for within the transaction themselves is then miners have the option to claim those sets, and that's how fees work. Um, so the thing here with the HLC aggregation trick is saying that you aggregate the HLCs together from multiple transactions. You bulk them one into one separate output, and then with the covenants thing, you can. So instead of doing one in particular, you batch it up, and then because they're with covenants, you're able to specify each individual sub payment, and you can claim a particular one on this
Hmm.
individual output. So even though it's one
Really?
output, yeah, so, well, that's the idea. I don't know if it works, but that's at least what they're talking about
Isn't
here.
it like so you have a single output instead of like if you have three HTLCs instead of having three outputs, you have a single output that
Yes,
pays to this CTV. Is this with CTV or
I
something like?
I don't think it's specified. It's just covenants.
Yeah, because Jeremy Rubin had that CTV tree of transactions thing.
Yeah,
Like you pay to
like the
one,
secure the back thing. Yeah, I
and
don't know if
then
it.
that thing expands to multiple.
I don't know if
Isn't
it
it?
uses like that, and that thing in particular might do it that way. I'm not sure. The point is that in general, in the happy flow, this is never needed, right? But uh, because if
Turns
something does
out,
go wrong,
turns out the happy flow doesn't happen a
right,
lot.
right. So you need you need other stuff. So this way you are still able to, because I guess the idea of the meta HTLC, let's say, or the bulk HTLC, is you need cooperation for that to update and that maybe spend. And if you don't get that cooperation, you're able to do it for specific HTLCs. And I think that's also that way you can preserve the time lock, because the time lock is I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Um,
Imagine you have like we're talking about without even reading the thing, but okay. We
right.
imagine you have
Don't say
five.
that. Don't say that. We're just doing everything on this just based on the four words that are HTLC aggregation with covenants. We just skipped the entire text. We're just doing
Yeah, we
this.
can just make up. Oh, make it up. So if you have five HTLCs and you choose one to claim to to claim, what happens to the other ones? Like you have
So
a
they
new
get rolled
output,
back. No, so they get rolled back to like the bulk.
but you have to pre-sign that. You have to pre-sign.
No, not with covenants. So that's the point of covenants, right?
No,
The,
well, with CTV at least with CTV, you have to pre-sign the entire tree. Like you have to know the shape of the tree beforehand.
yeah, sure. You pre-compose the tree, but you don't pre-sign it. It's like you don't use pre-signed
Yeah,
transactions. You use
Sorry. You don't pre-sign, but you have to prepare.
yeah,
Uh,
You have to pre-compose
so if
the
you don't
contract.
know
Yeah,
which HTLC you're going to claim. So if you claim one of the five, the other four,
yeah. They'll get
like
those get rolled back to the
you
bulk
have to have
UTF.
two outputs. One is
Yes,
like you have
correct.
to have five different tap leaves, for example.
Yeah.
One of them is claiming HTLC one, the other HTLC two, and so on. And if you want to claim the HTLC one, you have two outputs. One is HTLC one, and the other output is another covenant that mixes the other four HTLCs that were not claimed. Is that it?
Yes.
No, this is impossible.
Why?
It's too many transactions. You have to. And then these other four, they also have the same thing, but now with one branch less.
I think so. I think it does discuss overhead, but the overhead should be so
No, I mean
because you have to
you have
compare.
to prepare too many things
No, but
in
you have to
advance.
compare it. You have to compare it to. Oh, yeah. You say you have to prepare too many things. I don't. I'm not sure that's technically an issue that
Yeah,
might make
maybe
it
it's not
unpractical.
that many.
Maybe they have tricks. I don't know. We didn't read the stuff, so it should be possible. I think it should be possible, right?
So if you have
One way or
five
another.
HTLCs, you have five transactions times four times three times two. You have
But
120 transactions you have to prepare, or something like that. Or maybe I'm crazy. No, five. I think. Yeah, let's not do math live.
that's always a better.
Let's end
It's
this
always a good
episode
idea.
here.
You want you want to end it there. So now
So
we
that
need to talk because we do need to talk about the
now,
the,
now
the
you
possible impact about this, right?
possible impact of what?
Well,
What
I was thinking if you one of the reasons you need multiple channels or channels is um, to what extent is like the HLCs piling up a bottleneck? If let's say if you're like an active routing node, and maybe also with the issue like do you want time locks to be lengthy? Well, I guess so. I mean, it doesn't it hurts in the fact that you cannot get to the money. You have to wait for the money. But
I don't think that's a problem. I think the problem is just the channels closing. Uh, yeah, that's the only problem. Channels closing, and this you'll see. Yeah, this doesn't solve anything, right?
yes, but
What's
with
this
the
trying to solve?
but if you so like I guess there are a couple things. Um, so they're talking about the transaction recycling. That this way it's not possible to do the transaction recycling thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess not.
Um, I don't have it clear enough in my mind, like the whole transaction recycling thing. But the
The
what
transaction
they say,
recycling thing is
yeah,
you you as the receiver of the HTLC, you publish the 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 transaction claiming the HTLC with the preimage, but then you immediately publish uh, the parent transaction to that with an RPF fee. So your preimage transaction gets discarded by the mempool from the mempool, and then you publish the transaction with the preimage again, and then
yeah.
it
So it's
gets
like a bait
discarded
and
again.
it's like a bait and switch. So or like
Yeah,
whatever you do
it
this,
only works because the miners are naive and they don't know what's happening.
right. So yeah. So like it's like
And
you
then you prevent the
trick
other
and then you're
side.
not looking anymore, right? Then you're not looking at actually what happening anymore.
Yeah,
The other
if they
party
were
is. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
the other party, if the other party is also looking, they can get the preimage
Yeah, I think the
from
point
the
here is that
mempool.
because yeah, so the point here is because it's like this the HLCs are like stuck like the outputs are stuck in this covenant structure. You cannot just you cannot do this trick anymore because you cannot
Yeah,
include it
it's
in
just
like
a
this other type of transaction.
very ugly hash, like a hack, to prevent people from gaming the system.
So maybe that works and that's an added feature. You also
Yeah,
don't have like so you say channels closing, but isn't like part of the pressure on closing a channel the time lock? Let's say if the time lock's like a year, is there any pressure to close the channel? You're like, oh, something went wrong. It's like,
yeah, no. If the time lock is large,
yeah,
then there's no pressure to close the channel. But then the money gets stuck for that long.
right. But then but currently, to what extent is the time lock itself a possible or like factor in the piling up of the HLCs?
I don't think. there are too many HTLCs
Or
piling.
is there even a? I'm thinking about it. I don't think there is actually a relationship between those two because it's only relevant the moment the channel closes anyway.
I don't
Uh,
know. Let me just give an example. Thing that happened this week or last week. I don't know. There's this Zeus wallet. Do you use that Zeus wallet? Have you watched the Citadel Dispatch with the Zeus guy?
Not that I'm aware.
Ivan. Yeah, I think it was the last one or something. Because he launched this Zeus. Can you answer me if you know what this wallet is?
Yes, yes, I
Okay,
know. I know this
it
wallet. Yeah.
was it was always a remote control wallet, but then they launched a new
Right. So
version
for
that
so
has
f- for the
LND
audience that
inside.
already knows everything, it's like the Zeus wallet is the one where it's very easy to link it to your own node, right?
Yeah, you could link
Yeah.
to CLN, LND, Eclair, whatever. But now they have a LND built in inside the node, inside the wallet. Uh, and then they launched the Lightning address service, which is like you have a central server called Zeus something, Zeus.com or something like that. And you when you sign up for that service on from your Zeus wallet, you that server will listen for payments from you, and like you, it will receive the payments and hold them, and not fulfill them. Like you hold the HTLC, and then whenever your phone comes online, it will message your phone and say, "Oh, resolve this to me," and like finish the payment manually.
Right.
And then people started complaining that other wallets were having their channels closed, and then the people from Mutiny wallet, you know that one?
That's the browser. Is that the browser extension one?
No, that's Albi. The
Oh,
Mutiny
right.
Mutiny
No,
is one
no, no.
that it runs in the browser, like
Oh,
with
right. Yeah. So
was.
not the extension one, but the browser, just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
regular browser one. Okay, that's what I meant. Yeah, sure.
yeah. The people from Mutiny, they were blaming Zeus from causing channels to close because they were holding the payment for 7 days or 24 hours. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, the channels were closing and the people were blaming Zeus. I don't understand that because, yeah, I think 24 hours is a long time, right?
Yeah. Well.
I-
Yeah.
it,
Sure.
it, it, it depends on the receiver can specify like how much time it needs, up to a week or so. So I don't know if 24 hours would. I wouldn't think 24 hours holding the payment would be that impactful. But the mutiny people were claiming all the problems were being caused by this Zeus thing. And then Matt Corallo also posted something on Twitter complaining that the Zeus thing was an attack on Bitcoin or something like that.
Hmm.
You didn't see any of that.
Yeah, I did. No, I did.
So yeah.
Um,
So the fact that someone was holding the HTLCs was allegedly causing channels to be closed. Although I don't think I believe these claims that much.
regardless, it does pile up the HLCs along the route, right?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does.
So, this would if what we're talking about would work, that would also solve solve this issue.
No, of course not. No.
Why not?
Because like as this, you're forwarding a payment. You receive the payment and you send to the next node.
Yeah.
You have to claim the payment you sent forward. You have to claim it before your previous, like the person who sent you claims their one,
Right.
right? So there's this time lock conflict. Like you have to close the channel and claim the HTLC. There's no other way. Like otherwise you lose money. So if someone is holding the HTLC and they won't answer you back, they won't cancel the payment, they won't say, okay, let's cancel this and let's agree to cancel this, then you will forced to close the channel so you can get your HTLC back. And if you have a bunch of HTLCs, they're all in flight, even those that are going to expire in a very long time. you still close the channel, and all those go to the chain, and all those you have to wait for them, even though the channel is already closed.
Okay,
And okay,
why?
if you do the aggregation stuff, nothing
Yeah,
changes. Like you just have another step that you have to expand this aggregated thing into all the HTLCs that you had before.
but you are able to hold more HTLCs, right? It's not. What's the problem? So then the only problem is like in terms of liquidity. It's like how much liquidity is stuck here. But there's not a technical reason. It's like my channel itself
But
is jammed just because it's like clogged
yeah,
up with stuff.
but I don't think the GM is a real concern.
Well,
I don't think the GM has ever caused any problems. I think this was a theoretical attack that someone came up with, right? A while ago, but it was never really a problem. As I said, there was a limit. I think this guy in the post is saying the limit is 483. That's a theoretical limit. Like, but the implementations they default to like 30, so they could hold much more,
okay,
right?
yeah,
Why don't they allow 400?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah, because
Gotta ask those guys.
because it would be a bomb. Like it would be. Imagine closing. I don't know. I think it's just a they do it like on their gut. They
Well,
feel
it
it's a
also,
bad thing. It's a bad
uh,
thing if you close a channel and you have 400 outputs. Like they know this is bad, but
yeah,
it's also bad if it's four. Like if those four are not economical, like they're not valuable enough to justify their spending. It's also bad. It's just doesn't look that bad. But yeah, okay.
yeah. So okay, well then I guess this is the transition from topic to regular podcast, where it's like and harping back to the one to the last one. Um, so this is then it just becomes a matter of value, right? I mean, if all those lightning transactions are like a million in terms of uh like $1 million worth, then all this stuff is still very efficient.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the moment it's like streaming micropayments, then yeah, then it's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the end of the the regular.
That's the end of the topic. Okay.
That's the end of the podcast. I mean that sums up everything.
The end of the entire series.
Yeah,
The
we
season
keep coming back
23.
to this, and there's like nothing beyond there.
No, you still have to talk about runes. BRC
Oh,
20.
so talk about runes and BRC
No,
20.
no, that's another topic. Let's stop recording and start again like later.
Okay.
Okay. How do I stop recording? What is the button?